Britain is standing on the edge of an economic precipice, but the ground isn't crumbling evenly beneath our feet. While some areas might weather the coming storm, data reveals that 10 specific regions are flashing red warnings of imminent collapse. From skyrocketing business insolvencies to housing market crashes, the signs are undeniable. Is your hometown on the list? We've analyzed the critical data points, debt, employment, and housing to rank the most vulnerable areas. Stay with us, because the region at number 1 might shock you. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 10. The Scottish Lowlands. Starting our countdown is the industrial heart of Scotland. While Edinburgh remains relatively buoyant due to finance, the surrounding lowlands are facing a brutal double-edged sword. This region relies heavily on energy-intensive manufacturing industries, which are currently being suffocated by volatile utility costs. We are seeing a sharp uptick in zombie companies, businesses that are only generating enough cash to pay the interest on their debts but nothing else. As interest rates remain high, these companies will fold, triggering significant localized unemployment. Furthermore, the housing stock here is older and harder to heat. With energy price caps fluctuating, household disposable income is evaporating faster here than almost anywhere else in the UK, leading to a retail death spiral. Number 9. Fading coastal towns. At number 9, we look to the edges of the map. Areas like Blackpool, Hastings, and Skegness are facing an existential crisis. These economies are dangerously seasonal, relying entirely on discretionary spending from tourists, the exact type of spending that vanishes first during a recession. But the rot goes deeper than just a bad summer season. These towns have some of the highest rates of benefits dependency in the country. As central government looks to tighten fiscal belts and potentially squeeze welfare payments to balance the books, the flow of money into these communities will effectively turn off. With low local wages and a lack of alternative high-skilled industry, there is simply no financial buffer here to absorb the shock of rising food prices. Number 8. The West Midlands. The West Midlands takes the 8th spot, and this is a story of industrial overexposure. Historically the engine room of the UK, this region is heavily dependent on the automotive and advanced manufacturing sectors. These industries are currently plagued by global supply chain disruptions and a drop in demand for new vehicles as consumers cut back on big-ticket purchases. We are already seeing major manufacturers cutting shifts, but the real danger lies in the supply chain, the smaller tiered suppliers that employ thousands across Birmingham and Wolverhampton. If one major factory sneezes, the entire region catches a cold. Combine this with a housing market that overheated during the pandemic, and you have a recipe for negative equity trapping workers in a declining labor market. Number 7. Northern Ireland's economy. Number 7 highlights a unique structural weakness. Northern Ireland has the highest proportion of public sector workers in the UK. In a healthy economy, that provides stability. In a recession where the government is looking to slash borrowing, it's a massive liability. Any austerity measures or public sector pay freezes implemented by Westminster will disproportionately decapitate the spending power of this entire region. Furthermore, the political instability regarding trade borders continues to stifle private external investment. Businesses hate uncertainty, and right now investors are putting a pause on Northern Ireland. With the cost of living significantly higher here due to import logistics, households are being squeezed from both sides. Stagnant public wages and soaring shelf prices. Number 6. The Southwest. You might be surprised to see the Southwest at number 6 given its perceived wealth. However, this region is facing a catastrophic housing affordability crisis that is strangling its economy. The influx of second home owners and remote workers from London has pushed property prices and rents to levels that local wages simply cannot support. The disparity between local earnings and living costs is now the widest in the country. As the recession bites, essential service workers, teachers, nurses, retail staff are being priced out, causing labor shortages that are forcing local businesses to close. We are predicting a sharp correction in house prices here as the second home market dries up, which could leave many locals trapped in negative equity and unable to move for work. Number 5. The Northeast. Entering the top 5, we find the Northeast. Tragically, this region often enters recessions first and leaves them last. The issue here is a lack of resilience. The Northeast has the lowest average household wealth in the UK, meaning families have zero savings to fall back on when bills rise or hours are cut. The child poverty rate here has surged, now overtaking London, indicating deep-rooted distress. The region is also heavily reliant on call center and administrative support jobs, roles that are increasingly being automated by AI or outsourced to cut costs. As corporations look to trim fat during the recession, the Northeast's service sector is low-hanging fruit for mass redundancies, which would be devastating for the local economy. Number 4. The Welsh Valleys. At number 4, the Welsh Valleys face a deep structural collapse. This area has long struggled with high rates of economic inactivity due to long-term sickness and a lack of infrastructure investment. However, the new threat is the cost of living crisis meeting older, inefficient housing stock. The heat or eat dilemma is not a metaphor here, it is a reality. Small businesses in the valleys operate on razor-thin margins and rely entirely on local trade. As energy bills remain high and local customers stop spending, we expect a cascade of small business closures that will rip the heart out of these high streets. Without intervention, these communities risk becoming economic ghost towns, with zero job prospects for the younger generation. Number 3. Yorkshire and Humber. Number 3 is Yorkshire and the Humber. This region is currently flashing one of the most alarming warning signs of all. It has the highest rate of business insolvency growth in the UK. Companies here are failing at a faster rate than anywhere else. Why? It's a toxic combination of high energy intensity in its manufacturing base and a slowdown in its financial services hub in Leeds. The region's textile and food processing industries are being hammered by raw material inflation. Unlike London, the financial sector here doesn't have the global capital reserves to weather a long storm. We are looking at a potential hollowing out of the mid-sized business sector, which is the primary employer for the region's middle class. Number 2. The London periphery. Number 2 might seem counterintuitive, but the outer London boroughs are a ticking time bomb. While central London is insulated by immense wealth, the commuter belt is facing a mortgage apocalypse. This area has the highest mortgage debt-to-income ratio in the country. Families stretched themselves to the limit to buy homes here when interest rates were near zero. Now, as fixed-rate deals expire and rates remain high, monthly payments are doubling or tripling. This will suck billions of pounds of disposable income out of the local economy instantly. We expect to see a wave of repossessions and forced sales here, causing a localized housing market crash that will destroy consumer confidence and decimate local high streets that rely on commuter spending. Number 1. The East Midlands. And finally, the region most at risk of collapse is the East Midlands. This area sits at the intersection of every major economic vulnerability. It has the lowest public spending per head, meaning infrastructure is crumbling. Crucially, its economy is heavily skewed toward low-paid logistics, warehousing, and textiles. As the UK enters recession, consumer spending on online goods, the lifeblood of logistics, plummets. When we stop buying online, the East Midlands stops working. Furthermore, wage growth here has lagged behind the rest of the country for a decade, leaving the population with the lowest discretionary income to handle inflation. It is the perfect economic storm. Low wages, high exposure to retail downturns, and zero government safety net. The collapse here won't be slow, it will be sudden. So guys, the economic map of Britain is being redrawn, and unfortunately, these 10 regions are on the front lines of the struggle. But forewarned is forearmed. Understanding these regional vulnerabilities is the first step to protecting your own financial future. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit the like button. It helps get this crucial information to more people. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update on the UK housing market. And tell us in the comments, are you seeing these signs in your local area? Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.